What's poppin'? My name's Richie, and today we're gonna ban John. All jokes aside, today I'm going to show you guys how you can create your own admin class / banning players in your creative maps with the new savepoint device. And with that being said, let's jump right into it. First things first, this is obviously a lot more useful if you can actually publish your maps. If you don't have a code and you want to apply for a code, you don't need 1,000 subscribers anymore or 1,000 followers. There is an actual form, an application form where you can submit your creative islands. And if they like your islands and if they think that you're a talented creator, they're gonna give you a code even if you don't have 1,000 followers. And yeah, let's jump right into it, how to create admin / banning tools in Fortnite Creative. So the first thing that you obviously need is the savepoint device. The savepoint device is fairly new. You can find it under creative, go to devices, and then there it is, the savepoint. You only need one on the map because it saves for each player individually. And in the savepoint, you can have a bunch of settings which you can change, and you can have it super custom designed to your own map. But one thing which is very important is that you have save team on. Otherwise, this will kind of not work what we're doing here. So save team is by default to off. Make sure that you set that to on. You can place the savepoint device wherever you want. It doesn't matter. It will not show on the map or something else. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to get ourselves a class designer. You can find these as well under the devices tab, and they should be fairly down here somewhere, right next to the class selector. We also need that one, but first things first, we're gonna set up a class designer and set up some cool admin classes. So this is the class that we are gonna give ourselves, the admins. They're the ones that you want to have all the rights in the server. So first things first, what you need to change in the class designer. Actually, it depends on you. Depending on what kind of admin you want to have and what kind of rights you want to give yourself in your own maps, you kind of just need to change whatever you feel free to change. So I gave myself basically all the rights here. I can fly, I can see all player names, I've respawn time of 1 second, whatever, invincible. You can change whatever you want in here. It doesn't really matter. Even the class identifier, I put that to class 16, but you can basically put that wherever you want. Okay, so the next thing is the class selector. This one is very important because it chooses basically the class or the team that it gives to a player. So we can basically decide with this device which player gets which class. And for this one, we're gonna do our admin class here, and we're gonna obviously put the same class as in our class designer. Then I also put team to team 50. Team 50 because it's the last team. It will rarely ever happen that someone randomly joins in team 50. And the reason for that is because we can actually decide on which players are joining which team. So team 50 is our admin team, and then color it's whatever, and you don't have to change anything else in here. Because since you're the admin, you can just walk in there and just change the class to yourself, and then you're team 50. If you want to have it fancy, you can do it as well. We're going to show you that in a second for the other teams as well. The last thing that we need to do for the admins is we need to give the admins a proper team. For that, we're going to go somewhere in the map. I just do it outside of this little box here. And we're going to place a team settings and inventory device. And in here, we can actually change a few minor details. It is basically the same as the class designer, with the little change that this is more for teams than for classes. And in here you can actually change the team name, which then also will apply to the actual team name that you will see in game. So everybody will see that you're an admin if you put team name admin in here. Also, the team admin should be team 50, as you already said earlier, and the initial team size is whatever, how many admins you want to have in your team. So for me, it's just 1, so I'm gonna leave that to 1. And that is basically all you have to do for the admin team. So if we now start the game, you can see here, we are basically in our little room here in our map. And this is obviously very dependent on where you place your map and what do you do with your map. For me, it's very easy now. I can just walk into this admin class. You can see I'm team 2 right now. And if I walk into the admin class, it takes 3 seconds, I think. And now I'm the admin. So you can see here, admin, Richie Tunes, and now I have all the abilities. I can fly around and do whatever I want. All right, so now that we know how we can give ourselves an admin, we also want to know how we can ban players. So first of all, to ban players, you kind of need a room for yourself. So you kind of need an admin room where you can teleport as an admin, and then you have to press some buttons. But if you have a room like that, and if you can do that in your maps, then it's super easy to do. It is basically the same principle as the admin class. You have to just give players that you don't like a team, and that team is spawning at a cage location. For example, you could spawn them in like a prison or whatever, and they're like stuck there. Or you can have like trolling mechanisms or whatever you want to do for your banned players or timeouted players. But the main principle is also very simple. So first things first, we need same thing here. We need a class. This class should be called band player, and class identifier should be like a different number as well. So 15 for this one. Then you can set up the same things. You can feel free whatever class and whatever multipliers you want to give your band players. You can give them full health but slow movement or whatever. Feel free to do whatever you want here. The next thing is same thing again. We need the class selector. In here, we now need to change a few different settings. First of all, same thing over here. Make sure that they're the correct classes and the correct teams. Okay, now the important thing that we as admins can actually ban the players and that they have to walk into the selector themselves. So what we can do here is change player to class when receiving from to channel, whatever you want to have in here. And then the same thing for change player to team to the same channel. The next thing that we need to do is we need to set up mutated zones that are basically across the map. So they can cover the whole map and catch basically every player that is in the zone. Or you basically have to just make it as big as the playable zone of your map. So in the mutated zone, you need to basically have for each team that you want to be able to ban, you want to have a different mutated zone. So for example, what you can do here is enable game start should be set to no, because we don't want players to immediately get banned as soon as they enter the map. Then we want select team, put the team that you want to ban in here. Make sure that affects team is to only is selected. Class doesn't matter since we already have the team. If you only have classes that are getting banned, then you should have this to different classes. Then enable when receiving from. This means if we want to ban someone, this mutated zone gets enabled. And then on player entering zone, transmit on channel 2. If we press yes, we want to ban this player, the zone will get enabled. The mutated zone will detect that there's a player in this zone. So for example, like here, there's a player in the zone right now. The player would get detected on player entering zone, transmit on channel 2. And channel 2 will be sent to this class selector over here. And then we'll send the player off to. So the last thing that we need is obviously a button to kind of give the command to ban a player. So we can basically set up just a very normal like button here. And then interaction text, ban team 2, player 2. Interact with channel 1. So that should be a different channel for each team that you have. So you also need different mutated zones, but that should be obvious by now. Also, one more thing which we need to do is we need to give the banned players a team settings and inventory device as well. So we can have the banned player team here with the actual team that we want to ban. And then you can do the same thing over here. Nothing else to change here. And the last thing that we need to do is we need to give the banned players a place to stay, or like a cage where we can cage them in, get a prison for them. So for me in this example, I put this little cage on the cliffs here. And all you'd have to do is basically put up a spawn device with the exact team here. And then obviously only the players in this team will spawn on this device, and this is in the cage. You might have to do like a barrier around it so they can actually not break out. And yeah, so you can now see that John is in our playable area. John is ready to get banned, and we're gonna check which team is John. We want to ban John, so John is in team 1. We're gonna press ban team 1. And now John is going to get banned from the server / he's going to get the tag that he's a banned player. And now if we fly over to our little cage that we just built, we can see John is caged and he is now a banned player on the server. And he will be always stuck in here as long as I not unban him from this team. If you have an actual creative map with the code, he will actually stay there forever unless you change the settings of the savepoint device, or if you unban him. So it is actually quite powerful tool, so be careful what you do with this and how you use it. But other than that, I think it's actually a pretty cool tool to kind of stop teamers maybe, or stop trolls in maps that are meant to be played serious. Okay, so for those of you who really want to do this on an actual map with a code, I would highly recommend making the map, then publishing the map the first time with the class selector somewhere on the map where you can easily walk in. Then you walk into the class selector, you make sure that you're on the admin class, then you go back into your creative settings, delete the class selector for the admin class, and then you can publish the map as normally. So you're the only person that has the admin class. That's it for the admin / banning. It is actually a very simple system to set up, but could be very cool, and hopefully in the future this will be a little bit more useful since the save device is not really made for creative only lobbies. Let me know if you're planning on trolling your friends or banning some of your friends in your own creative maps. And with that being said, I'll see you guys back in the next video. Bye.